Welcome back to this week's episode of Is It Worth It, where we'll deep dive into rare animal breeding to answer the age-old question, is it worth the headache, or should you just buy the mounts and move on with your life? Remember to like and subscribe to avoid getting ganked by the YouTube algorithm. It is sneakier than a max-spec bloodletter in the mists. This episode will cover supply chains, recommended setups, and the profitability of the four most commonly used rare animals. And spoiler alert, some of these will make you rich, and some of them are going to make you feel like you just bought a gold-plated fishing rod for no reason. Unlike in the previous episode, you can't just stroll up to the farm vendor on your island and ask for a baby moose. Trust me, I tried it. You'll need to find them, and a link will be in the description for where each one of these adorable yet expensive creatures can be dropped. If you're lucky, you won't have to fight off an entire ZVZ group for a single direwolf pup. Now it's time to grow some animals. Depending on your choice of mounts, you'll need either crops or meat. For stags and moose, you're going to need crops because apparently they're on a keto-free diet. And for Swiftclaws and direwolves, these are going to have a meat diet because they like their mills steel mooing. For stags and moose, you're going to need a carrot island in Limhurst is your best bet. You can check out this video for more information about farming crops. With the Limhurst City bonus, you'll yield 1,296 carrots per day. That's enough to feed 81 stags or 18 moose per day. At maximum rare animal specialization, you can nurture 66 animals per day. Since you can grow 9 stags or moose per plot, a single island of carrots can sustain an island of stags with focus, but you'll need 3 islands to keep up with moose production. Now let's talk some numbers. Hold on to your brain cells, folks. The profitability of stags, we'll talk about no focus versus focus. So without focus, your profit per unit is 32,800 silver. With a full island of 144 stags, that comes out to 4.7 million silver profit per cycle, or 2.36 million silver per day. That breaks down to 70.8 million silver per month for one island of stags. Now, if you decide to use focus on these to get the fawn return rate, your profit increases by over 40%, reaching 3.37 million silver per day and 101 million silver per month. One island's a stag pays for 2 premium accounts per month. Your wallet will thank you, and your enemies will envy your mount empire. Now let's move on to the profitability of moose. Again, no focus versus focus. Without focus, you're going to get a loss per unit of negative 22,400 silver. With focus, you're going to have a profit of 1 million silver per day, 31 million silver per month. So the lesson here is breeding moose without focus is like running into a hellgate naked with millions of silver in your inventory. Don't do it. Next, we'll move on to our Swiftclaws and Direwolves, our carnivore club. Since these require meat, you either need to buy it or go full Albion tycoon mode with farm islands. A turnip island in Fort Sterling and goats in Bridgewatch will keep the supply flowing. Since these animals take more meat than Bonnie Blue, consider having an investment in an elite winter boar or an elite winter bear for transport. Swiftclaw profitability, again, no focus versus focus. Without focus, the profit per unit is 9,825 silver, barely worth your time. A full island, which is 64 Swiftclaws, is 209,000 silver per day, or 6.2 million silver per month. With focus on Swiftclaws, the profit does double to 13.9 million silver per month for a fully focused used island. Now, the difference between the Swiftclaw islands and the moose and stag islands is the fact that you are limited because each of the kennels can only take 4 animals. So 64 animals on each island with kennels versus 144 animals on each island with regular plots. So the takeaway here is breeding Swiftclaws is technically profitable, but compared to stags, it's like comparing a donkey to an armored horse. Choose wisely. Now, direwolf profitability, again, no focus versus focus. Without focus, you're going to have a loss per unit of 17,175 silver. Rip your silver stagger. But with focus, the profit skyrockets to 1.1 million silver per day and 33.8 million silver per month. So Direwolves are like real life huskies. They cost a fortune to feed, but if you manage them right, they can bring in some serious silver. Now let's talk about some pro tips to maximize your profits. Buy orders are your best friend. Place buy orders for T6 4 to T6 Hide and Bridge Watch, or take that to Martlock and refine it and save a ton on your saddle costs. You can also look at using buy orders to acquire both crops and meat that you need for your various animals. And you can look at each city is going to have its own specific bonus to butchering a specific animal. So depending on whatever you want to buy, make sure you're putting buy orders for the correct meat in the correct city to maximize your savings. Now, time versus profit. If you hate the daily farm maintenance, like I said, just use the buy orders and your sanity will thank you. Stockpile smartly. Baby animals at the end of each season when reward chests flood the market. So at the end of each season, you get a Conqueror's chest, you get your regular seasonal chests, and then anyone who's turning in a whole bunch of might for chests, a lot of that happens at the same time. So if you put in these buy orders right at the end of the season, you're going to see a lot of baby animals flood the market over a few day period. And that is a good point at which you can buy a large amount of those to stock up for the next season. The other thing you can do is look at doing guild trades. So if guild members have baby animals, you can always just swap them a tamed animal for the baby animal, especially if it's like a moose or a direwolf or something like that, because you're getting the baby for free, and you'll have a chance to get offspring if you're using focus. So only do that if you're going to be using focus, but only saddle them if they're providing the leather. That is a large amount of the cost, especially for the T6 animals. Then the last one is market manipulation. So keep an eye out on mount prices in the different cities and make sure that you're selling when profits peak. Generally, what I like to do is have a few of each animal in every city. So when I go to check it, if I see, oh, hey, price is up on stags in Martlock, for example, then I can go ahead and start putting them on the market at that location. You could also, if prices get too low and you do the math and you're like, hey, that shouldn't be this low, you can correct that yourself by buying up, if you have the capital, the stock, and up to a price point where it's profitable again, then start bleeding them back out on the market. But, do understand that it's based on supply and demand. So times in between seasons and, following long periods after a patch, the usage of some of these mounts is going to be less and less. So just watch that before you decide to do that. All right, final thoughts. Breeding rare animals can be profitable if you play it smart. Stags and moose with focus, amazing. Swiftclaws, kind of meh. Direwolves, only with focus unless you like losing money faster than a new player in the red zone. And for those wondering about the Mammoth, don't worry, I haven't forgot about it. That beast is going to have its own episode because it is a unique animal in the world of Albion. Thanks for watching, guys, and remember to like and subscribe so you don't get ganked by the YouTube algorithm.